Yeah, it makes noise.
Call meeting to order. This is a live in-person meeting of Littlestown Area School Board of Directors. This live in-person meeting is open to the public in accordance with the Sunshine Act. By participating in this meeting, you are consenting to the recording, retention, or future viewing of this meeting. This meeting is also being live streamed as convenient to the public. In the event the live stream fails or cannot be transmitted for any reason, the in-person live stream meeting will continue without interruption. Carrie, roll call, please.
Danielle Brenneman. Here. Mary Brenneman. Here. Brian Lawyer. Nick Lovell.
Here.
Jeannie Ewan. Here. Janelle Ressler. Here. Wayne Sullivan.
Here.
Carl Thompson.
Here.
And Steve Mitchell.
Please stand for pledge of allegiance and join the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This time, the board is going to take a 5-minute executive session to discuss board minutes or board business.
Discuss what?
Executive session.
Discuss what? I'm sorry, or speak.
Executive, to discuss board action.
Discuss board actions. You have to be specific. That's a Sunshine Act violation, Carl. You have to be more specific than that. Board actions. Okay.
advance notice given?
Well, they should at least be more specific about what they want.
Provide advance notice.
When they go to during the week, they have to provide a specific reason.
Carrie,
That
please.
is specific.
All right, meeting's back in order. Okay. Under board acknowledgements and announcements, on January 21st, this board invited all board members to participate in a tour of the new wing of the high school. 5 board members were present. No business was conducted during this time. Okay, student representatives, Mr. Khan, will you go first? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ian Khan, and I am the 8th grader and our student council president. Here's what's happening at Littlestown. We are in the midst of our pride value and integrity. Integrity means acting in a way you know to be right and kind in all situations. All students participated in the lesson on integrity in the social studies class. We sold Valentine's Day bears with artificial roses and candy bears last week. All proceeds will benefit our student council and PBIS funds. It will be delivered to homes this week before the long weekend. Another security for the Bahamas, today was Baby Day, and we have Day, Swing Day, and Heart Day. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Mr. Hoffman, for the high school.
Good afternoon. Ralph Fitzgerald has fallen ill, so I'll be representing the high school. Student Council is planning on hosting spring activities such as a Valentine's Day sale, Spring Spirit Week, and a potential spring pep rally. They will also be attending the Regional Leadership Conference. Tanner Rock is going to break the LHS school record for career wrestling wins. He has also earned 100 career pins this year. Littlestown won 2 district matches this season as well. Astronomy Club is planning their field trip to the Maryland Science Center to visit the planetarium. The Scholastic Arts Club has students who won the Scholastic Keys for their submissions. The winners are Clara Ring, who won the highest key for her digital piece, Cold Death's Light, a silver key for another digital art piece, Beeson of Gold, and an honorable mention for a digital art piece, Marcy in a Gray House. Penny Hubert won 2 silver keys for a recycled art sculpture titled Sea Made of Plastic, and a crochet sweater called Stories of the Sky. LHS visual arts classes are participating in the Adams County Art Council All-County Show. 25 LHS artists have works displayed in the Art Council Gallery. Open night was the 7th and runs till the 28th. The gallery is open 10 to 7 daily. FFA is caring for 2 crossbred calves in the shop. 12 members will attend the State Leadership Conference in Harrisburg, and 3 members have worked on restoring a 41 John Deere B tractor. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for us before they speak out? Thank you. No, thank you.
Thank
Sorry.
you. You're good.
Okay. Mr. Professor, Doctor? Excuse me, Doctor. You,
All right, so first, this month, I would like to publicly thank our counseling department for everything that they do, and whether or not everybody was aware of it, this past week was the National School Counselor Appreciation Week. All week long. So the multifaceted nature, I feel like, of the counseling job often isn't taken into account or understood sometimes. We kind of see it in one vein and all the things that they do, and I know that the team at the high school, the things that they do are amazing, and they make it seem very simple, when in fact it's very, very layered and a difficult job. And once again, just would like to thank them for all the work that they do on a regular basis in keeping that school what it is. I would also say I'd like to happily report that things are seeming, may I even say, somewhat routine at the high school again to some degree. At this point, after some upheaval with the move and the things that went into the preparation for that and all the work that the teachers and staff needed to do to get that to occur. We've been able to get more in the role of what the things are that we know we need to be doing and preparing for, and data meetings, for example, have been held with our tested subject teams and administrators. So Mr. Creeds and myself spending some time with each of those teams, beginning to understand the current processes and things that they have been doing, and starting to get past the surface level of what our expectations and asks will be based on some of that. And I will say that from those meetings, the teachers truly are professionals in terms of the use of data, so the mining of the data and the use of it. I think Dr. Berryman would say the same, and she kind of filled me in beforehand saying we're in a good place, and she's not wrong, right? So the things that they showed us and the mapping of the data and the way that they do so, and pretty much, in my opinion, is exceptional in almost all aspects of each team. So continue to work with them just to make small changes because it's impressive what they're doing. Also, teachers have been sharing their progress on their goals for the students for the year. Been impressed by the honest self-reflection that they've shown in that process. So in reading through when we receive a mid-year, the recognition of the need to pivot at times and the things they need to do to make sure that they're getting the results that they're trying to get to. Finally, sticking with the theme of appreciation weeks and days, Friday is the School Resource Officer Appreciation Day. I don't know if everybody knows that. And while not the exact title, yes, it's every day, but we're actually making it official. Since it's not the actual title, still, I'd like to personally, and on behalf of the entire high school, thank Mr. Lorenz for his dedication. We are very, very fortunate to have him here. And I know on the occasions where he is needed at the high school, it takes roughly 30 seconds, it feels like, to get from the middle school. He's there up to us and does great things in order to help us. So we, again, very fortunate to have him, and we'd like to thank him directly. That is what I have tonight. If you have any questions.
Aren't you all on Friday?
Yeah.
So you choose the day that...
I didn't plan it, yeah. So it's a national movement.
You got all
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions about the Becca? Hearing none, thank you. And we appreciate you. Oh, thank you. You're up.
Good evening. So I think a couple of months ago, maybe even last month, I talked a little bit about how this past summer when I was building the master schedule at Maple Avenue, I made an effort to ensure that all of the math and English teachers had the same planning period as their counterparts. So 6th grade math teachers plan together, 7th grade English teachers plan together, so on and so forth. And they had the expectation of meeting together at least twice a week to review data and plan for the coming weeks and lessons ahead. So that's been going, it's been going really well. But one thing that we found in our journey to create a consistent experience for students across, like it doesn't matter which 7th grade math teacher you have, that it's a consistent experience, was that they didn't have the opportunity to watch each other teach. So here these people were planning together and talking about what they were going to do for their students together, but were making large assumptions about what was happening in each other's classrooms and what it looked like. You know, when this teacher said, well, I'm going to do this, and I say, well, I'm going to do that, but what does it really look like? So I decided that it would be really important for those teachers specifically to observe their exact counterpart in action. And so they've done that 3 times already, and we'll do it at least once, if not twice more this school year. And so I wanted to do something a little unorthodox. I want to read to you something. I'm going to read it to you directly as it's written. This is an email thread between 2 teachers. It's completely unsolicited. They put me on the thread because they wanted to share with me what their discussion was. I do have their permission to share this with you this evening. I will not tell you who it is, but I think this is a genuine and authentic example of how powerful those classroom visits were for them as an example, but for all the teachers. So just bear with me. I just want to read it to you exactly as they wrote it. So the first teacher, teacher number 1, says, thank you, and again, this is to her counterpart, or his counterpart teacher. Thank you for allowing me into your classroom today. Here are some things I'd like to steal from you and discuss further in collaborative planning. 1, The color coding of text-dependent analysis. Have you had them do that with their work? I noticed their revisions are due next week, and I was wondering if they will be using that document as well as the one you shared at the ELA department meeting to help with their revisions. I also liked how you supported the color coding with the new prompt and the new chart. One student even used the color to answer your question. I thought that was great. Now, I truly have no idea what they're talking about for this color coding, okay? But she thought it was a great. Number 2, free Write Friday. That's a great way to get students to feel like what it is to write for 5 minutes. Will you be increasing the time to build their stamina? Will it be like in minutes? For example, next week or next month, is it a 6-minute free write? This is something I'd like to discuss, and I'm not sure it would be accepted, but I'd love to be able, for the next common assessment text-dependent analysis, to give students 2 days to do it, so they could try new ways we've been giving them, from the Pennsylvania Department of Education suggestion to have them write it on paper, then type it. Then we can use your chart. I know you're going to have them use it eventually on their own, but it would be cool if we could see next month what still needs refining before it's PSSA time. Thanks again for allowing me to come in and to be such a great innovator. I appreciate learning with and from you. So that was one teacher to another. And that teacher, then teacher number 2, responded saying, so I have had them highlight their writing for various things we were working on. This goes back to that color coding thing she was talking about, but not directly related to text-dependent analysis part. This is all something totally new that we just started this week because they were just not getting it the way I taught it last year, and I ended up totally scrapping the way I was teaching it. It's working well though. That is how I'm planning on teaching it from here on out. My plan for next year is to start with a lot of support, providing evidence, helping to break it apart, giving them the chart and sentence stems, and then slowly backing off until they can do it totally on their own with just a prompt and a blank piece of paper, like it's the PSSA. I'm figuring if I started earlier, we can have the bulk of it finished, and then have time to work on it sounding less robotic and with better transitions, etc. I started Free Write Friday a few weeks ago to build their stamina, and although they complain, I think they love it. Every time so far, I've had kids ask for 1 more minute, LOL, and they're always excited to share what they wrote about. Yes, my plan is to increase it a bit, but not to where they're writing for like 10 minutes straight because there's just not enough time in the class period, unfortunately. I also like how you ran your small groups in class today. I feel like your conversations were meaningful and genuine. You have good connections with the kids and they responded well to you in small groups. And teacher number 1 responds, thank you. I'm hoping small group instruction will really help bridge the gaps. So the reason I read all that to you is just because I thought like it was an authentic representation of the power of teachers collaborating and being able to see each other teach, and with no specific prompt or direction from me, the sort of dialogue they were having, all about what they were doing to refine their instructional practices to meet their students' needs. And it made my heart just explode, and I just wanted to share it with you because I thought it was a really powerful testimony to just the, when we put professionals together and give them what they need, they can work hard to figure out what our students need. They just need the opportunity to do it. So that's all I have to share.
I think it's great that they are open to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. And these are not, and again, this really doesn't have anything to do with it except to say, these are not 2 teachers who have classrooms that are even nearly identical to each other. Very different approaches. So that when we're trying to think about having consistent programming at a grade level, to hear this sort of conversation just helps to show that we're on the road to that, and we're both invested in each other and in our students.
Mrs. Goldman, question. You said that they go with each other a couple times over the school year.
Yes.
How many times are you planning on having them?
So, excuse me, they've observed, last week was the 3rd time. There's a 4th time already planned. If we have time, I'd like to add a 5th, but there's definitely 4.
And logistically, how are you able to free up that teacher?
Yeah, so that's been some fancy footwork. So we have our building sub, Miss Kingsborough, and so I pick a day that I look forward in the calendar to a day that maybe we don't have a lot of people absent and that I can use her. And what she would do is like cover you first period so you can watch me, and then cover me second period so I can watch you. And she just kind of like bounces through her day, covering different teachers so they can spend an entire period watching each other.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah.
Thank you. Moran?
So I really just want to echo and say, I don't want to speak for Nate and Courtney, but again, just the professionalism, the performance of their staff and their personnel is something that's really just echoed throughout the school district. I've been fortunate to be here long enough to be in multiple locations and different roles that we see there. So I really just applaud those. And again, congratulations for the great work you guys really appreciate. We too down at the ACES are really working with their teachers and some of those mid-year reflections that both of them have alluded to. We're focusing on their data analysis and reflections and really focusing on their child, what we call a child chat discussions and conversations. And that's a natural thing that occurs each year and occurs at this time of year just because of that midpoint as we come into the second half of the school year. What that does allow for us is to really set that tone for what the remaining part of the school looks like. It helps us to make informed instructional decisions based on that feedback that we have gathered from our students and from our staff and our families as we move forward. Today, particularly in this room here, we were working with some of their science teachers in connection to some of the professional development work centered around their skills that Dr. Berry this year, next year, on this occasion. In preparation not only for this year, in the pilot year for skills, but as we go into next year, for skills to become an official part of their state assessment for their fifth graders. They did their PSSA last year.